So are we supposed to start the podcast?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Patriots, gaytriots, theytriots, blacktriots.
Fuck off!
Listen up, people of the United States and international listeners. We're still here on Asshole Island, and we will not cede 1 inch, not 1 inch, to these fascist MFers. We are going to stand together for everyone all the time. Sometimes we're going to have petty grievances. Sometimes we're going to have big grievances, but we're going to do it together as an Asshole Island family. Pumps, what have you had it with?
What I've had it with, it's 2 things. Number 1, I've had it with this bang that I can't get to stand down. It just sticks up all the time. I've had it with that. I've also had it with lies coming from the press secretary at the White House. I've had it with the questions that they have plants in the press briefing that ask them xenophobic questions. I've had it with all that. I'm tired of lying, especially from the White House. And I know that's a big ask, but I would just like a tiny bit of truth and not so much propaganda.
I just think I just think you're asking too much.
I know.
You have 40-something% of the population that voted for a man that is a convicted felon. So they're okay with crimes. They're okay with lies. And a percentage of the American public, the triple Trumpers, are okay with immoral behavior because these people are morally flawed. I saw on, it was Instagram, I think, that somebody wrote, maybe triple Trumpers, maybe they're nice to their pets, maybe they're nice to their families, but these are deeply flawed, toxic people. And that's the truth. We cannot make excuses for these people. All of us have Trumpers in our lives. I think all of us would say these are the most toxic people in our lives, the most, the lowest emotional intelligence, the lowest intellectual intelligence are these people. They're broken and they're damaged, and they are 100% fine with the lies coming from the White House press secretary because she hates the same people they hate.
It's really sickening. And you know what I was thinking when you were talking? I agree with you. All of these people, they're okay with lies. They're okay with criminals. But I have family members that are triple Trumpers. If I brought home a boyfriend/fiance and said, here's my fiance, he's got 34 felony convictions, they would immediately tell me this was a bad idea. So how do you reconcile that you're okay with the most powerful office in the land being a criminal, but yet you wouldn't want your daughter to be engaged to somebody that had 34 felony counts? And I 100% know.
Let me tell you this.
Okay.
Say the hypothetical guy you're bringing home to your mom and dad was a billionaire, and he said he was a Christian and that he had learned his lesson and he hated the same types of people that they hated. I think you'd find a caveat carve out.
You do?
Well, fuck yes, you do. If he was a billionaire and did a little praise Jesus,
you forgot
little white, maybe said a couple of off-colored remarks about minorities, that'd be hook, line, sinker, all in on it. And that's the thing. That's the big lie of Trump, and that's the exposure of Trump to these people. If you're rich and you're white, you can be a piece of shit. But if this was a poor guy or a black guy that you brought home, you're goddamn right your family would take issue with it. But if you brought home some born-again billionaire who was a bullshit artist, he'd tap dance all over them and win them over hook, line, sinker, just the way Trump has.
I'm afraid to say you might be right.
Yeah, it's a burden being right all the time.
It really is.
All right, let me tell you what I've had it with. I've had it with Jesus Christ advertising on television.
There are so many.
What? I saw this ad keeps popping up, and it's like, Jesus, he gets us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, stop. This is the most famous person of my lifetime. You cannot go a block in the state of Oklahoma without seeing Christ or Christian or Jesus or something. Now we're running ads. Jesus Christ is advertising. Like, what stage of capitalism meets religion are we at right now, where Jesus Christ has to advertise on television to promote his brand? is it me, or is that just the weirdest, most American late stage capitalism, late stage democracy, pre-Christian nationalist handmaid tale arrival you have ever seen in your life?
Completely agree with all that. I'll tell you what I found interesting, because I don't usually watch TV that has commercials, but during the Super Bowl, which those ads are exponentially more expensive than normal, I saw 3 or 4 different, like, Jesus loves you, Jesus gets you, at the highest rate of the entire year to pay for those ads. And that's what I was struck by. So they're paying triple plus premium for these ads.
Well, the part that they're paying for that doesn't surprise me one bit, because these people don't pay taxes. So of course they can afford.
Right.
You know, I mean, look at Joel Osteen, lives in like a 50,000 square foot house, has 5 or 6 private planes. My thing is the insecurity that you would feel like you need to advertise. And when you dig deep into the people behind this, it's the people that own Hobby Lobby, the Green family, which is from Oklahoma. These are the people that famously opposed birth control being in the Affordable Care Act. Imagine that as a Christian, a billionaire Christian at that one of your number one platforms isn't to help people, isn't to give health care to people who can't afford it, maybe open up a hospital for free to poor members of the society. Nope, it's to make sure those damn sluts, if they're fucking around, they're going to get knocked up. We're not paying for their birth control. That's their number one cause. And these are the same assholes that are running commercials for Jesus Christ on the television. I think this is pure grifting, charlatan, propagandizing bullshit. And it is why, among many other reasons, I detest with every molecule in my fiber, in my being, evangelical Christianity. I think it is a cancer. I think it is a dumb factory that breeds dumb people that don't critically think, that elect dumb, corrupt leaders that worship money and like to bully gay people and belittle Black people. And I think it is an absolute cancer. White, evangelical, megachurch Christianity, cannot stand it. I have had it. And Jesus Christ, quit running ads. For fuck's sake, you've had the best-selling book for like 2,000 years. Had it.
I'm telling you, I'm still not over the dumb factory.
It is. Evangelical Christianity is a dumb factory. They go to these dumb schools. They go to dumb Christian camps. You know, and then their number one thing is that what they want kids to do is not fuck. I'm like, oh, that's going to work.
Works
Bravo.
so well. Abstinence is such a great plan.
Bravo. Yeah. Tell a bunch of hormonal teenagers that if they have sex, they're bad and the devil's going to torture them forever. That's good. That's healthy. That seems like a rock solid idea. It's just stupid. It's stupid idea on top of other stupid ideas that then materializes in them running an advertisement for Jesus Christ. That's just weird.
It's weird.
It's weird.
It's completely strange.
Welcome to I've Had It. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Angie, the HBIC head beaver in charge, because beavers fuck with you when you're not watching. And it's the mascot of Canada.
And I do think beavers have premarital sex, and I think it's shame-free.
They do. They have absolute
shame-free, and they mate for life.
They mate for life. Yeah, they're soulmates. Beavers are.
And you know what? They don't have to run commercials.
No, they're not running commercials that beavers love each other forever.
They don't have to grandstand like, hey, I get you. I'm a beaver. I get you. And running like multi-million-dollar advertisements. I think it's pathetic. I think it's thirst trapping. I am not a Christian. But if I were one, I would be like, why is Jesus advertising? This is beneath his messaging. I think it is the trashiest American white evangelical dump truck dipshit MAGA shit. I hate it. Kylie, have you seen those ads?
I have. They're everywhere. So I don't know if it's just Oklahoma or if it's international, but everywhere.
It's not international. I can assure
National.
you.
Right,
I
no.
would say national.
Yeah.
I think that probably our European listeners are like, wait a minute. So y'all advertise for medication, which they think is really weird. And your Jesus Christ is running ads on television. It's weird. And here's the thing. All of these religious groups do all this shit with impunity and nobody ever calls it out. Like, I have an idea, the Jesus commercial people. why don't you take all that money for your advertisement, put your money where your mouth is, and go help the homeless situation? Because I don't know about you, but most of the evangelical Christians that I know, when homelessness comes up, they act so disgusted. They'll say, ugh, I don't want to go out to California. It's just so many homeless people. I'm like, oh yeah, like they're living so well.
Right.
Like have some fucking compassion with your little Christ cross on. So maybe instead of spending billions of dollars on an advertising campaign, coordinate with state and local governments and say, hey, we were about to do this huge multi-$100 million advertising campaign for Jesus. But then we realized, oh yeah, he's already famous and he has a best-selling book for like 2,000 years. So what we thought we'd do, instead of being assholes trying to impose our views on everybody else, is we would just partner with you all and figure out what kind of homes and communities we could build to tackle this homelessness crisis that you have. Are they doing that? No. And guess what? When they do it, they go to foreign countries and they have to do all this mission stuff and manipulate people into believing their religion to give them clean water. It's bullshit. I'm whistleblowing on the whole thing. I've had it.
Well, that's a really, really good idea you just had, but you know where you wouldn't find an idea like that?
A white evangelical megachurch.
Or a dumb factory.
No, because they're dumb factories. They are dumb factories.
That's like my favorite thing you've said in a long time.
Kylie, what did you think when you saw the Jesus commercials?
Honestly, I think I'm pretty desensitized to it because, like you said, every billboard when we drive around, it's just everywhere. It doesn't even faze me anymore. It's like background noise.
Yeah, it doesn't faze me either. But what fazed me is when I saw it so many during the Super Bowl, and I thought, God, they're paying a premium for that.
I think it's somewhat pathetic. I think it's just, if your product is so good, and if I were to meet white evangelical Christians in the city that I live in, where they're abundant here, and they were so good and compassionate to where I said, God, I just think you're a really great person. You always are in a great mood. You show so much kindness to the marginalized. What is that about? And they're like, oh, it's my faith. Well, what religion are you? They're like, well, I'm a follower of Jesus, but I don't want to push it on you. Now, that would be attractive.
Right.
There's nothing that these people do that's attractive. They're out there talking in tongues, holding up rattlesnakes, taking Venmo, building new churches, growing, ripping off the public just like the MAGA Republicans do.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy when you think about the correlations between MAGA and religion, evangelical religion, straight down to the leader being what I'm told is charismatic in Donald Trump, but like the real hellfire damnation. It really is, when you step back from it, it's chilling.
Well, and then look at how he's decorated the Oval Office. It's full-blown Christian, nouveau riche vibes. It is. That's like, there's remember that house where I grew up, in the evangelical preacher who, got all those millions of dollars. He built this gaudy, tacky, nouveau riche mansion. Look at Joel Osteen's mansion. Trashy. Look at the Oval Office. Trashy. Look at Mar-a-Lago. Trashy. Look at Trump's tower penthouse. Utter gutter snipe. I mean, it's just trashy. And I think that Jesus running ads is just a bridge too far for me. Live by example, Jesus. Live by example. You don't need to be buying ads. It's just too far.
It's just too far.
I mean, if I was like 99.9999999% never going to be a Christian, Jesus running the ad put the nail in the crucifix for me. It's never happening. That's never going to fucking happen. It's the most unattractive, braggadocious, pick me, thirst trap bullshit I've ever seen.
And here I thought you were so close.
At this point, after those ads, I think I have a better chance of like Scientology.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any Scientology ads.
I have, but maybe on streaming.
Oh, really?
Because I Google stuff about it all the time.
All right, Kylie, what's going on the internet?
I've got some hate comments for you today.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
This one is 1-star review titled Nails on a Chalkboard. And they write, if you like the sound of two aggressive pigs bullying their guests and showcasing really uninformed opinions as rudely and unhinged as possible, then this is your show. I'm a woman and I had to turn this show off because it's cringy and embarrassing. This is a good example of just because you can doesn't mean you should. You have been warned.
Been warned? By what? Like, what's she going to do?
By her. Like,
Oh, she's
warning other
future
people.
listeners.
Yeah.
I think she must have heard my conversation with Rahm Emanuel.
Probably.
I mean, I think that's what that is.
Yeah,
Bullying guests. I mean, that's the closest it gets to.
but it says 2 pigs. I don't think she'd call Josh a pig, do you?
But she probably this is a person who has never listened to a full podcast. This is a person who's seen the clip online, or better yet, saw the clip on Fox News.
I forget you're a Fox News star.
When they did their takedown of me. And like 2 or 3 different shows did like a Fox News takedown. And every time we're featured on Fox News, you guys, my DMs, my email box, my business phone line ring. And the depths of evil spit that comes out of the MAGA cult it's unbelievable how deranged these people are. I mean, I just know for sure when I'm on Fox, it's coming. It is coming. The fucking hate parade, this dumb factory is on its way to my inbox.
And you know what's so amazing about that? 95% of them are evangelical Christians that have God, Jesus, pray, whatever in their bios.
Always. But that doesn't surprise me at all, because the meanest people I know are evangelical Christians. White evangelical Christians are the cruelest, most toxic people I've personally ever met in my life.
Well, it shows itself off on Fox News.
Yep.
For sure.
Kylie, what's next?
This one is another 1-star review. It's titled TDS, which we know stands for Trump Derangement Syndrome. And they write, please get help. You're off the rails.
Here's the thing. The only part I disagree with that is the Trump derangement syndrome, but the get help, you're off the rails, I totally agree with.
Right. Yeah.
I relate
off the
to
rails.
that.
Yes.
And the
Nailed
1-star, we're not for everybody, but I take issue. I think the Trump derangement syndrome is just classic projection.
Well, yeah.
They're the ones that are deranged by him, and they're projecting that other people aren't, because we critically think and don't believe the lies. When we hear a man say, why don't you just stick bleach, inject bleach into the veins and just clean it all out? I'm able to deduce that that is a bad idea.
Right. When I hear a presidential candidate talking about Hannibal Lecter and sharks being electrocuted in windmills, I immediately know that's not somebody I want to put my faith and trust in, but not these people.
Mm-hmm. Did we get a bunch? I never look at that. Did we get a bunch of 1-stars?
We have an influx recently due to
Fox.
the aforementioned Fox. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, a review's a review.
Yeah, but I don't want him to tank our rating.
Has it tanked our rating?
No, but I thought I would end on a high note. Here's a 5-star. True allyship. And Jade writes, my wife and I never miss an episode. The head beaver in charge and her younger partner are the true definition of what it means to be an ally. Even when we want to cry, they give us something to laugh about. Thanks for being our favorite DEI podcast. These lesbians truly love you both.
Yay! I forgot to say, welcome to America's top DEI podcast.
We're DEI podcast.
Yeah. And actually, at this podcast, Seth, our other editor, is a heterosexual white male, and I call him our DEI hire.
Right. He's our DEI hire because we like female lesbians.
That's correct.
Because as we all know, as you've said, lesbians should rule the world.
Okay, listen up. I've had it, ladies, have the biggest, best hack for nailing, stick the landing Mother's Day gift. Race immediately to Aura and buy this frame for your mother for Mother's Day.
I have this frame and I love it. What's so great about it is you can upload pictures constantly. So they're changing all the time and you get to recap your memories every time you see it.
Aura Frames was named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter and featured in 495 gift guides last year. So the next time you need to call your mom, you can also send her a new pic of you from that trip you were telling her about right from your phone. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's AURA billframes.com. Be sure to use our promo code HADIT. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Attention renters, if you haven't heard of Bilt, you're about to thank me. Earn your favorite airline miles and hotel points through Bilt just by paying your rent on time. Now let me explain. There's no cost to join, and just by paying rent, you unlock flexible points that can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and so much more. Bilt's neighborhood benefits are things like extra points on dining out, complimentary post-workout shakes, free mats or towels at your favorite fitness studio, and unique experiences that only Bilt members can access. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, what are you waiting for? Start paying rent through Bilt and take advantage of your neighborhood benefits by going to joinbilt.com/hadit. That's joinbilt.com/hadit. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. joinbilt.com/hadit to sign up for Bilt today. Okay, I have some news stories I would like to review with the class today. A study has found that 1 in 5 corporate executives are psychopaths, the same rate among prisoners. I'm surprised it's not higher.
I'll tell you what, I would have been surprised about this 10 years ago. Now, I'm not at all surprised. I can't believe it's not higher. After what we've seen, just in the last, and maybe it's just because I've started paying attention as I've gotten older. In my 20s, I didn't give a fuck. But
are you saying that you were in your 20s 10 years ago? Speaking of fucking lies.
No.
I mean, that is lies. I want to go give us a one-star review and say the older beaver is lying about her age.
I didn't mean that, but I'm just saying as you go through your life, like you're not interested in what's going on with executives or whatever until you start being a consumer and an adult. You know what I mean? So in the last 10 years, I've really noticed how, well, probably longer than that.
All right. Next up, we have deleting your long paragraph and texting back, okay, is a different level of self-control. It's a sign of emotional regulation, the ability to manage intense feelings without reacting impulsively. When you're healing, you begin to realize that not every trigger deserves a full emotional response. Sometimes you write the paragraph to process your feelings, but delete it to protect your peace. That simple okay. It's not about shutting down. It's a conscience boundary. It's the moment you choose self-respect over emotional chaos. It's the shift from needing to be heard to being okay with not being understood by everyone. That's not cold. That's clarity. That's healing. I found this and I thought, okay, this is so true because I used to just fucking go hot. Like if something triggered me, I would just blast back.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just be like, and I'm sure that comes as a huge surprise to our listeners. But I would say probably like the last 5 years, I've really there are just certain things that happen where I'm just like, I don't care enough. I don't care enough to respond. And I do agree with what this is Mr._psychologist on Instagram says, that you can write your ass chewing text and then you can go up and delete it and replace it with an okay, because sometimes it's just cathartic to get it out of you, but not deal with the aftermath and then having to manage that person's emotions anymore when you send them how you really feel. Sometimes how I feel about somebody is just my business. And I don't really need that person to know that I think they're a piece of shit.
Sometimes you do, though. We have always had these fantasy chew outs and fantasy letters, like hate mail that we'd write to people and chew out conversations that we'd role play. And so this to me is the same thing. I'll tell you why I don't text it. I'm so worried they're going to see the bubbles. So I do all the imaginary role play in my head, but
why do you care if they see the bubbles or not?
I don't know.
I mean, you're 55 years old. Like, why do you give a shit if somebody sees your bubbles?
I just don't like people to know when I'm responding. I like to let it ride. But I like to just say okay or just not respond.
I always, there is one lady recently, and she started the conversation with me, and she'd been listening to Tucker Carlson's podcast and started all this crazy like pro-Putin conversation. And she sent me a couple of texts and I've completely ghosted her because I'm just like, life's short and I don't want to hang out with somebody who gets their news from the dumb factory. I just don't. Like, I don't want to have a conversation with you about Tucker Carlson's theory about Vladimir Putin because it's a waste of time. It's a complete waste of time. I'm thinking this woman, she's a wealthy white woman. She knows better and she chooses to spend her time trafficking in Tucker Carlson's podcast. You know, like, that's just, you're just not a candidate to be my friend. You're not a candidate to be my text buddy. Sure as fuck never playing pickleball with you ever again. I don't hate you. I don't like you. You're just simply not worthy of any response from me because life is too short to spend it with the dipshits.
From the dumb factory.
From the dumb factory. All right, my last one is people who use profanity tend to be more honest and show higher levels of integrity. Studies show that people who curse more often tend to be more honest. Those who use profanity more frequently may be less likely to deceive or lie in social interactions. And I want to say to that, you're goddamn right.
Fuck yes, is what I have to say.
Yeah, and I want to say this. I notice sometimes that people in our comment section will say, I love this show, but these ladies shouldn't cuss that much. And these are from liberal viewers, liberal listeners. And if you get on the internet long enough, you see that like Pod Save America, Joe Rogan, any other podcaster, they can throw an F-bomb if they're male. And it's never a thing. But even within the progressive movement or the centrist movement or leftist movement, there's this expectation that women shouldn't cuss. But everybody else, all the men get to cuss all they want to. And I've had it with that. I think it's such bullshit. Furthermore, I think it was William Shakespeare that said in Romeo and Juliet, a rose by any other name would still smell as sweet, talking about the last name of the Montagues and the Capulets and just how stupid it was to put so much emphasis on that. And haven't we evolved past like the word fuck and it being that big of a deal? We have a convicted felon in charge of the United States of America that's intentionally face planting the economy and deporting people to a concentration camp. But Jennifer and Angie, the DEI podcasters, say fuck and we got our panties in a wad and we're going to clutch our pearls. Stop listening. Go find another podcast. I can't deal with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a lot of sexism and the ladylike. And I think that as we're evolving, you know, the gender stereotypes are incrementally, hopefully getting a little better. I feel like there's a backlash right now with all the trad wife stuff, but that's just sexism, pure and simple.
It totally is. And there's this expectation that women, you know, oh, they're supposed to be ladies
Ladylike.
And little girls and blah, blah. And it's just this infantilizing of women is something that I think is such a dangerous thing. And you see like little girls and their parents just completely infantilize them even when they're up to 25 or 30 years old. And it doesn't help your daughters. It doesn't help the movement. Societies are much better, much, much better when women and men can equally say fuck with either the same amount of judgment or the same amount of acceptance.
Right. Well said.
Thank you.
You didn't go to the dumb factory.
I didn't go to the dumb factory. I refused to go to the dumb factory. My whole life, I fought off against it. Being an atheist in the buckle of the Bible Belt, constantly recruited, told how I was going to hell. Here's something else I think is fucking nuts. I think it's fucking nuts to tell people you're born a sinner. You're born a fuck up. I don't think that's a very healthy thing to say to people.
Yeah,
I think people are inherently good. I don't think people are inherently bad. I think people are inherently good. And I think a religion that goes around telling people you're inherently bad, I think that's kind of abusive to children.
Well,
because you know what an advocate for children I am.
Right. I mean, we are children advocates around here. I would say that's how I was always taught my whole life. And it is a burden that you carry without even realizing you carry it. That you're a sinner, that you might go to hell, all that. I mean, it's just when you're indoctrinated with it from a young age, you do carry it. Or I do. I did. Less so now.
You don't care. You don't think you're bad anymore?
I mean, I think I can be a real dick sometimes, but I think that's completely irrelevant to who I am as a person.
But you don't have this feeling like I was born bad of sin.
No.
Shed every ounce of that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But I mean, don't you think that's kind of, I mean, having been told that, don't you think that's pretty screwed up to tell little kids?
Yeah. It's way too harsh and it fucks with people. You know, you're putting your kid in a situation that they shouldn't be in at such a young age.
Yeah, I think it's better to be like, I know deep down you're a good boy or you're a good girl or you're a good person if whatever. I know deep down that you want to do the right thing. I think that's a better starting point than saying you're an absolute sinner and Satan has a stronghold on your heart, but this is the only thing you have to do to be a better person. I also think it's kind of skirting the system.
There's so much skirting in evangelical Christianity. You fucked this up. You fucked 50 women. You did all this, but you're saved again. So all's forgiven. You're good. So much skirting. No personal growth required.
Kylie, what do you think about all that?
You know, I agree 100%. I think we always say some of the worst people are the Christians we know.
Yep.
And it's because they know that they can get away with it. There's a loophole. They're told to confess to a priest, all religions. Just get baptized. You're good to go.
Yeah, I always picture because we hear from our gay friends. They're on Grindr, right? And there's all these guys that are married to women and go to churches and all this stuff. And then they're going over doing gay stuff with gay men on Grindr. And then I wonder, after they get their rocks off, when they get home, do they have a prayer, God, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to go chase that cock anymore. I know I'm bad. I know I shouldn't do it. What is the process through that? Because then they think God forgives you. You've been saved. You've been born again. So all you have to do is just say sorry. And here's the thing. I don't really care that somebody goes and has gay sex. What I care about is that person will attend and be in part of an organization that marginalizes and demeans gay people. That's where there's no oxygen with me and my allyship to the gay community. I will give no space, no oxygen to any church, institution, politician that even suggests that gay people are wrong. There's no space for that. It is the biggest deal breaker for me on the planet. The biggest.
Well, and that's the thing about the hypocrisy and why it's so easy to point out the hypocrisy of evangelicals, because they're running around on Grindr and then they're minimizing people that do the exact same thing they do. And they think they're better than them. They think that they are inherently better.
Now that there's all this, tech stuff, I think that we need to have hackers for good. And we need all of these evangelical preachers and the people that work in the youth group, all the people that are in the offices of these mega churches that just completely rip off the public. And we need to hack into their Google search histories, Pornhubs, social media accounts, DMs, and then just release it all.
Oh, well, that would be fantastic. But here's the deal. I guarantee you those the Joel Osteen and the Scientology, those leader guys, their security is so much better than Pete Hegseth's. We can get on a Signal app and do war plans before we'd be able to get these motherfuckers search histories. I promise you.
Right, but
it's so guarded.
But a lot of this leads to it starts when you have shame about doing something. A lot of these evangelical preachers are probably gay and or bi-curious. In my world and in your world, there's no shame in that. But in their world, there's horrific shame. I mean, one of the singular motivations of all of evangelical Christianity is to protect all of these wonderful marriages with the straights.
Right.
Right. That's their big, big movement. And so I think when you have something that you feel shame about and you do it on the DL all the time, it can turn into an addiction. And all addictions escalate each time. You have that, there was this guy, he was a mega church guy in Colorado. I can't remember his name, but he was all this anti-gay from the pulpit. And then he ends up doing poppers with some gay escort. They're doing butt stuff and poppers, and and then it's all over the news. And then you got that Senator Larry Craig that was trying to get laid at like the Minneapolis airport.
Right.
And so, yes, they have, they probably have some security, but I do think when you are doing something that's normal for you, that should be normal for you, but the societal and religious constructs tell you it's naughty and terrible and it's a sin and there has to be a human sacrifice in order for it to be atoned and all this crazy shit, then I think it can turn into higher risk behaviors, and it gets demented within that prism. And I think they're so jealous of all of these gay people and the gay parades, and they get so triggered by the pride parade because deep down they envy that kind of honesty and that type of authenticity, but they're incapable of living it because of all of the religious and societal constraints that they don't have enough conviction to stand up to.
I completely agree with all that, but I just think the level of security they've built in to keep their secrets, like the Jerry Falwell thing, that eventually, or Junior, fell apart because the wife's banging the pool boy and he's watching and all that. At some point they crack, but I just feel like these super high mega church with all of the money, they protect the money at all costs.
Listener, are you curious about Ozempic or Wegovy, but not sure if your insurance covers it? That's where our sponsor, Ro, comes in. Let's be real. No one likes calling their insurance provider to see if their medication is covered, especially not for GLP-1s like Ozempic or Wegovy.
What I like about Ro is it offers you support throughout the entire process while you're on GLP-1s. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can go straight to the provider.
And listener, there's no paperwork, no negotiating, no waiting on hold. Ro's free insurance checker will send you a comprehensive report of your coverage details so you can make a decision that's right for your goals and your budget. Join the over 350,000 people who've trusted Ro to check their coverage for free. All you have to do is go to ro.co/hadit for your free insurance check. That's ro.co/hadit to see if your insurance covers GLP-1s for free. Go to ro.co/safety for black box warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. Some might say Homes.com is the best home shopping site. Could it be because it has a sleek, spam-free site or the most in-depth school info? Homes.com knows every parent wants the best for their kids, so they're the only ones with school and district details and reviews from multiple sources, including niche. It may be Homes.com's super comprehensive and transparent agent directory, or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home best. Perhaps it's because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. Homes.com has 22 data visualization layers, 7 environmental layers, and allows you to search by commute and architectural factors. It's the home search you've been searching for. Go to Homes.com today for home shopping the way it should be. Homes.com, we've done your homework. Okay, Kylie, what's next?
We've got voice memos today.
Let's go.
Up first, we've got Tavy.
Hello, old hag, second favorite lesbian, and Kylie. This is Tavy here, huge fan of the podcast. I'm going to quickly share, and I've had it because I'm fresh out of the fucking situation that made me think about it. And that is, I have fucking had it with full body mirrors across from the toilet in public restrooms. This is the 3rd or 4th time in the last month I've seen this in New York City. And I want to know who was sitting on the fucking shitter thinking, you know what? We need a full body mirror in here. We need a shot of me in my most vulnerable position. What the fuck are you thinking? You just want a straight shot up your fucking cooter or looking at your cock and balls hanging in the bowl? What the fuck is going on? The only connection I can think here, aside from Trumpism and Stanley Cups, is these are the same designers who look at a strip mall and think, you know what? This needs to be a church. What the fuck do you mean you're having church in an old Sears? I grew up going to a church, I'm not kidding you, in Amarillo, Texas, that was an Albertsons before. What the fuck is going on? These megachurch designers, I mean, I have seriously fucking had it with that shit. I just want to look one of them in the eyes and say, hey, quick question. Are you fucking kidding me? Don't piss me off.
I love him. I feel like that's like a soulmate potential for me.
That's an A++.
That's just like, that's my love language. Just browbeating the insanity and the horrible taste of evangelical churches, and probably people on the coast or international listeners don't get it.
No.
You don't get what a toxic poison evangelical Christianity is in places like Oklahoma, and then look at all those red states in the South. I mean, it's like large percentage white evangelical Christians. And all of these churches, every single one of them, not only is it bad architecture, one of their number one platforms, go to all their websites. We believe that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Yeah. No, they absolutely. And you know what else runs through the comment of all that? Lowest education, highest gun ownership, murder, like all the bad things.
Like
lowest
teen
education.
pregnancy rates.
That's the amazing part about it. That's the abstinence doesn't work, because if you look through the buckle of the Bible Belt, highest teen pregnancy rate, also abortion ban.
My favorite was Sarah Palin. Okay. So John McCain's running against Obama in 2008, right? And so Steve Schmidt was his like campaign manager. Now he's a part of he's like a never Trumper Lincoln Project type guy. But he realizes like, oh, fuck. John McCain's an incredible candidate. He's a moderate Republican, Vietnam vet, the whole nine. But he's up against this once in a generation, good looking, smart, sharp as a tack, well spoken as fuck, Barack Obama. And there's this movement building. So he has to have a game change candidate.
Yeah.
So he picks Sarah Palin, who she and George W. Bush, to me, like they set the groundwork they set the psychological soil for the American public to accept dumb people in charge of stuff. George W. Bush and Sarah Palin. So she's dumber than a box of hot rocks, right? And she has all these kids. It's like twig, leaf, branch.
Yeah, I remember.
Root. It's like all these whisper, willow, chrysanthemum. Those are her kids. And she's got like 10, right? And so she's all about like, I believe in traditional family values, and I believe in abstinence only. And she's a huge, white evangelical megachurch hand-waving Christian. Well, chrysanthemum, or one of her kids, gets knocked up.
During the campaign, right?
I can't remember if it was during the campaign or right after. And as a teenager. And then, now her other son, I think, is like roughed up a girl and been in, possibly arrested. I think she and Todd Palin, or her husband at the time, they were supposed to be America's family that looked like all Americans. They're divorced.
Right.
It's just a total hypocritical shit show. And I think the government has no bloody business telling people how to be families.
Agree.
Especially those families.
Right. Do not exalt those families.
Especially, you named your kid after a bunch of tree parts.
Well, you have
I'm just start with that
from the jump. Like too many kids is a huge red flag in my opinion. I just think it's a huge red flag.
I do too.
Case in point, Elon Musk.
Okay, up next we've got Matt.
Hi, Kylie. Hi, Head Beaver in Charge. Hi, Jenny W. It's Matt. I haven't submitted anything for the pod in a little while, so I'm back. Riddle me fucking this. I pulled over to send this voice memo to you guys because it's not even 5 p.m. I'm driving to work, and I've seen two. I do live in a beach city. I want to preface that now to make sure that I understand that people want to be enjoying the sun. It's a sunny day. But explain to me why I've seen two men in their 70s without a shirt on, letting their boobs fucking collect dust on the public sidewalk, taxpayer concrete, with a MAGA hat on. With their fucking ugly fucking red MAGA hat on. Give me a fucking break. Like, seriously? Seriously, babe. When you get to that age, like, you have to come to terms. I need you to sit down, and I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. It is time to put a shirt on, because you cannot be subjecting the community to your fucking not so pleasant body and your Trump hat. And the best part to me, the most amusing part, is that they can't seem to put a shirt on, but that fucking Trump hat is snug as a damn bug on their damn head, on their fat ass fucking head, their big ass forehead. So anyways, if you see another man in their Trump hat, no shirt on in your town, Oklahoma, wherever you live in Oklahoma, I want you to run in the window and say, put a fucking shirt on. I'll go. Thanks. Have a good day.
I tell you what, you guys, Pumps and I have seen 2 MAGA hats together in 2.5 years. That's it. One was we were leaving Walmart, which Pumps likes to shop at Walmart, and I went with her, and there's a woman that walked in with a MAGA hat. And the other time was Inauguration Day, and we were at this cafe that we eat breakfast at like 2 or 3 days a week. It's like a greasy spoon American diner. And on Inauguration Day, this woman is in there and she has like American flags and she has on her MAGA hat. And Pumps and I mean, I felt like I wanted to do violent things. Like I felt like I hate her and I stared at her accordingly so that she knew, like, I know what's in your heart, bitch. I fucking know. And you can go to your mega church and you can put live, laugh, love on with a Christian cross on your profile, and you can freebase Fox News out of your goddamn Stanley Cup. But I know you're a racist. I know you're a homophobe. I know you're a hypocrite. I know you were produced in the dumb factory and participate in the dumb factory every fucking day. But other than that, I have not seen any MAGA hats in Oklahoma City.
No, I haven't either. Seems like that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw that one in California, but we were in LA, which made it even more shocking. But I will say this. The wearing no shirt old man with the MAGA hat is less alarming to me, which there is nothing grosser, don't get me wrong. It is less alarming than you seeing an 18-year-old with the MAGA hat on. That terrifies me more than the old man that I can picture watching Fox News. It's the young kids wearing MAGA hats. That's what scares me.
No, that's a great point. It's a really good point. That's far more terrifying. It really is.
Yeah.
It is far more terrifying. Okay, Kylie, last one.
Okay, the last one is from Bridie.
Hi girlies, this is Bridie from England, and today I will be dragging out a dead horse and beating it to a pulp because my, I've had it, is like crunchy granola mums that are just a public menace, a complete nuisance. This is inspired by the fact that 2 days in a row at my work, for context, I work in a cafe, 2 mothers allowed their children to sit down on a potty in the middle of the cafe and just go about their business. And then, when they were confronted about it by my manager, they didn't see an issue with it. They were confused as to why we were complaining. That is disgusting. It's unhygienic. It's weird. And you're putting your child in, like, a crazy unsafe situation. Also, I thought the point of potty training was teaching them to go appropriately and run to the toilet. I don't know. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
That sounds like something that would happen in America.
Right,
I'm
shocked.
disappointed in the UK.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
I'm
Love
very
her accent,
disappointed.
but I could see that happening here in Oklahoma City, but I'm shocked it's going on there. That is the most obnoxious, rude, most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
This is why I don't think children, for their benefit, for their safety, they don't need to be out in public as much as these parents are dragging them out. That mother put that child in a very unsafe position because had somebody been a little liquored up, a little emotionally unhinged, woke up a little bit cunty that day, that kid could have gotten the brunt of something.
Absolutely. And that's just offensive and gross. And how about the woman or the mother acting like she's offended that you're offended? Like, shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to watch anybody else shit while they eat, regardless of age.
I always, when my kids were really little, when somebody would roll their eyes or think they were loud, I always gave deference to that person and was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in this position. I know it fucking sucks. I'm sorry, but this is the best I can do in this moment with these kids.
Right.
It's the parents that project that everybody is going to think their kids are as cute as they do or care about their kids. it takes me back to people putting the signs in the yard about their kids going to attending school.
Did I tell you I saw one for 2027?
Yeah, we discussed it.
2 year. I mean, like, shut the fuck up. It's Power Mom on a whole new level. Now we're shitting in public. I can't take it. Power Mom should be outlawed. Should be law.
I know. All right. That's all we have for today. Make sure you pre-order our book. The link is below. It's called Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. It drops May 27th. So make sure you already pre-ordered it so you can get all the tea on Pumps and Me, buy our merch, subscribe to all of our stuff, leave us a 5-star review because that was 2 1-stars. And I think yin yang. Yin yang.
Although we admit to being unhinged.
And Jesus, quit running commercials. You're already famous enough.
Your book's already a bestseller.
Your book has been a bestseller forever. Buy Life as a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. Pumps, tell them.
We will see you next Tuesday and Thursday.
I'll tell you what I've had it with. Let's hear it. I've had it with that. Listen up, patriots, gaytriots, and natriots. We have a new podcast that has dropped. It's called iHip News. It's Monday through Friday, every day, 15 to 20-minute hot takes on the political landscape of the United States of America, always served with a side of petty grievances.
We are on all the available platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever you get your podcasts, and YouTube.
Please go rate, subscribe, and review so that we will chart upwards with America's greatest legal mind. Pumps, what does an eagle say?
Caw-caw!
A little bit more enthusiasm.
Caw-caw!
That's it. That's
Caw-caw!
That's the patriotism that this country needs right there.
Pluto TV has all the shows and movies you love streaming for free. That means laughter is free with gut-busting comedies like The Neighborhood, Boomerang, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Bueller.
Mystery is free with countless cases to crack from Criminal Minds, Tracker, and Matlock.
I'm a lawyer, like the old TV show.
And thrills are free with heart-pumping hits like The Walking Dead and Pulp Fiction.
Correctamundo.
Feel the free Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.